Okay, so I thought that I'd show you something that I'm working on today. I am burnishing this gym floor. Burnishing means that you hit it with a very, very high speed pad and it essentially melts the very top layer of wax and makes it shiny. If I had had time, I would have gone through and taken off all of these black marks, but sadly I ran out of time. The type of pad that I use is this white pad. It's made for a very, very high speed. These things rotate at like 2,000 or something RPM. And I just wanted to show you that even though this is wide enough that it essentially covers 2 tile, if you try to go down and cover 2 tile and then come back and cover another 2 tile, you will end up with these big swirl marks. And you can see it from, say, up high, like we have this walking track here. Looking down on it, it almost looks like a lawn that's been mowed, you know, in straight lines. So what I do is I end up lining the tile line up with the center, and I go down one way and then come back just right over there. So every tile essentially gets burnished both directions, because keep in mind this thing is just spinning in the same direction each time. It gets burnished both directions once. And so each tile is getting burnished twice, and it ends up making it look way, way better. There you can see the different shine spots. But over here, it's just completely matte. You do have to walk fairly slowly. It has taken several hours to get from there over to here. The slower you go, the better burnish you'll have. The faster you go, the worse that you have. So on this particular one, there's this little button up underneath here that you have to pull down at the same time as pulling on a trigger. You can also adjust this right here. This adjusts the, how the angle that this thing is, so that you can set it for different heights of people. So let me set this back. Get it started. And this is about how slow you end up going. Yeah, that's it. Happy floor shining. Also, I wanted to mention that a lot of times you can buy this spray that you can sit here and just kind of like squirt out in front of you. It's kind of whitish in color, and what it does is it makes the pad, it doesn't bite into the wax as far, and so it can actually spin faster and supposedly gives it a higher shine. I don't bother using that. One, it makes your machine dirty, which that's where all this dirt and stuff comes from. But two, I just don't feel like it makes enough of a difference for the cost involved and for the time involved in sitting there and spraying it. Okay, so when you're doing burnishing, right, and I'm going back and forth this way, when you come up to a wall, you end up hitting it, and then because you got this great big long arm, it's really awkward to kind of turn around, and you have these different spots in there that you haven't burnished, and so you have to kind of sit there and work it out, and it takes forever. So what I end up doing is I will actually take my machine and I will go sideways along this wall, probably at this point all the way down to there, and then I'll come back and back and back and go back and forth, until I've got enough room to be able to turn my machine around. And then I go down there, do the same thing, cut myself sort of a little section that moves me away from the wall. And then that way I can continue just going back and forth and back and forth. I also wanted to mention that when this thing is spinning, and maybe you can actually hear it. It's not going. There we go. So this thing is spinning now. I don't know if you can hear me. Probably the machine. When you put it down, right now it's spinning at full speed. When you put it down, and if I lift up on the handle, I'm putting weight down on the pad, and it slows down. There's kind of this sweet spot when you're going along of where you don't want it going super slow, but you also don't need to go at full speed. You want to go fast as it can while it's still making contact with the ground. You're not going to end up with a super shiny spot right here, because I'm just going to have this sitting here like this. But that's one of the things that the spray is supposed to do. It's supposed to give it lubrication so that when you lift up on the machine and give it pressure, that the pad is able to continue to be able to move fast. But I just don't find that it makes that much of a difference. Okay, so I'm having to change the pad. I've got slightly different colors, an orange instead of a white, but it does the same thing. The orange is actually a little bit softer. But I did find this. This is the brand, and I mean, multiple different brands make it, but it's a made for burnishing gloss restorer formulation, ready to work. But this is the stuff that I used to use and didn't find it very effective. But here, I just wanted to show you how to change a pad. I'm going to move this up. Then you tip this thing back. You can see here it's completely full of residue. And you can take this thing with a hose or something and you can spray this thing off and clean it up and use it again. It's also the same on the other side. You can just flip these things over. I've used this one quite a bit, so I'm probably just going to end up throwing it away. But the way you change it is you take this off. It kind of sticks on there using Velcro. And I take my new pad, and you'll see these are actually the same size. Pads do come in different sizes, so you got to make sure that you measure this part of your machine and know what size it is. Now, you'll notice this pad has a hole in it. This one doesn't. But wait, it does. And so you just pull this thing out. I actually hold on to that later and use it, you know, as a regular scrubber, or you can just throw it away. Line up the hole. And then right here, there's threads in there. There's threads right there. It just goes on. It's hard to tighten it down while holding the phone. Keeping it from spinning. Okay, so there we go. That's it. Here's a good video of right there. Shiny, not shiny. Look at that. I'm actually doing something with my life, making it prettier for people. Very dusty. Dust that goes out of it. So just be aware this is a very, very dusty process. There you can see all of the stuff right. So after you're done with this, so I dust mopped this whole floor, then I came back and I auto scrubbed the whole floor, then I burnished the whole floor, and then I'm going to have to finish up with dust mopping it. That's the full cycle. And if you have black marks, then you can scrub those up, which I didn't. Here's the almost finished project. All nice and shiny. Until you get to here, and you can see. Oh, gross. Shiny. And this is represents probably 4 hours worth of work. Maybe, I don't know, 3 hours worth of work.